A very good morning, children. So, today we are going to read the second chapter, The Thief's Story. It's a story about a young boy who makes friends with Anil. Anil trusts him completely and employs him. The story is about a 15-year-old thief who changes his name every month to stay ahead of the police and old employers. This time he kept his name Hari Singh. The other person in the story is a 25-year-old writer named Anil. The thief meets Anil and asks him if he can work for him. The story unfolds on how the thief betrays Anil by committing a theft but retracts later on. So let's begin with the story. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind, and simple enough for my purpose. Purpose means here the thief is telling that when he met Anil, he was only 15 years old. The thief is the narrator of the story. The thief says that according to him, he was pretty good at stealing. Anil was watching a wrestling match when the thief approached him. Anil was a tall, lean, and an easygoing man of 25. The thief had not committed any theft in the past few days as he did not get a chance. I hadn't had much luck of late, and though I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. So he wanted to win the confidence of Anil so that he could later rob him. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. Now, flattery means false praising somebody. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. Now, Anil replied that you also looked like a wrestler, which offended him as he was very thin at that time. Lean means thin. The thief modestly replied that he did wrestle a bit sometimes. What's your name? Hari Singh, I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. Now, the narrator used to change his name every month to escape the police and his ex-employers so that they may not find him. Then they started talking about the well-oiled wrestlers whom they watched on the screen. The narrator did not have much to say as he did not know much about wrestling. As Anil was leaving, the narrator again approached him, asking him that he wanted to work for him. The narrator approached him with the most appealing smile that he could. Anil told him that he won't be able to pay him much for his work. He said, but I can pay you better. I thought that over for a minute, perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, can you feed me? Now, he thought that he has misjudged him and he thought that he would be able to pay him better. But that was not the fact. He said, at least can you feed me? Can you cook? Anil asked him. I can cook. I lied again. Now the narrator again lied that he can cook. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. He said, okay, if you will cook for me, I'll feed you. He took me to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. Now he cooked the food for the first time. But Hari Singh didn't know how to cook, and that meal was so horrible that Anil had to throw it all away. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. Later, he patted me on the head and said, "Never mind, he'd teach me to cook." He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about a rupee a day. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. Now Hari enjoyed working for Anil. He used to make tea for him in the morning and then used to go to buy groceries for the day. He would also keep 1 rupee in his pocket every day from the money that Anil used to give him to buy groceries. Anil knew that he took a rupee every day, but he did not mind. He was fine with it. Anil made money by fits and starts. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for magazines, a clever way to make a living. One evening, he came home with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. Now, fits and start means that no fixed income was there. So, Anil did not have any regular income as he used to earn money by doing different activities. He did not have any fixed job. The narrator says that Anil used to be worried about his paychecks all the time, but as soon as he would receive a check, he would go out with friends and celebrate. The narrator thinks that he used to write for magazines also. The narrator also thinks it to be a strange way to make money. Then suddenly one evening, Anil came home with some money and told Hari that he had just sold a book to publisher. I had been working for Anil for almost a month and apart from cheating on the shopping had not done anything in my line of work. Line of work means the basic job of Hari Singh was to steal, to rob and was a thief. So he said for all this month, all this while when he was staying with Anil, he had not done any of such work except just cheating 1 rupee daily from the shopping money. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met, and that is why it was so difficult to rob him. Now, Hari thought that he had been working for Anil for almost a month, and as he has not cheated him, he also thinks that he gets every chance to steal as Anil had given him the key to his room as well as he could come and go wherever he wished to do so. Hari had been trusted upon by Hari the most. Hari had not been trusted upon by anyone else in his life. This was the only thing that was stopping Hari from stealing, as Hari thought that it is a way easy to rob a greedy man because he has the capability or the money to get robbed as he knows about what he has lost. But for a careless man like Anil, there was no use to steal as they sometimes don't even come to know what they have been robbed. And this is a fact. Also, Hari feels that when someone doesn't come to know that he has been robbed, then there is no fun left in robbing him. See, well, it's a time I did some real work. I told myself I'm out of practice, and if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. Now he decided that he had not robbed anyone for a long time. He also justified his act of stealing Anil's money by telling himself that if he didn't steal it, then Anil would waste it on his friends. He also thought that he had a right over the money as Anil didn't even pay him for the money for the work he used to do. Now Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept out of the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Now, Hari started his work when Anil was sleeping. There was a little bit light over Anil's bed because of the moonlight that was coming in from the window. Hari sat on the floor and planned that if he took the money, he could leave the city by the 10:30 p.m. Lucknow express train. Hari then crawled towards the bed and slipped his hand slowly inside the bed mattress. He looked at Anil, who was sleeping peacefully without a single line on his face. And Hari's face had so many scars on it. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil rich Arab for a week or two. Now, he then took out the notes without making any sound. Anil took a breath in his sleep and turned his side. He was directly facing Hari, which scared him a bit, and Hari quickly left the room. As soon as Hari left the room and he was on the road, he started running and had kept the notes in his pajamas. He had tied it with the string of pajamas. Then, after a while, Hari slowed down and counted the notes. He had 12 notes of 50 rupees, which made it 600 rupees. Then Hari thought to himself that with this money, he could live a luxurious life like an Arabian sheikh for at least 2 weeks. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated for some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. Now, when he reached the station, he realized that he sorry when he reached the station, he did not stop at the ticket office because he has never bought the ticket in his life. So he dashed straight to the platform. He went there. He found that the Lucknow Express was moving out. But though no, the train was going fast, but he was not able to jump into the carriage. There was some kind of hesitation. For some reason, he said he could not explain. He lost the chance to get away. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. Now, whole life he had not made any of the friend because he thought that friends cause more of the trouble. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. Now he actually didn't know what to do, where to go. He had no friend. So he did not have any friends whom he could go to, as he used to think that friends were more of a trouble than being helpful. He did not even want to stay at any of the small hotels as that would attract attention. He knew only one person very well and he had robbed him as well. Means he only knew Anil there. As Hari was walking through the bazaar after leaving the station, he was thinking of his observation as a thief. I found myself in my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance, but I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Now, as Hari was walking through the bazaar after leaving the station, he was thinking of his observations as a thief. In a short career span, he had realized that although everybody, from rich to poor, shows different reactions to losing their goods, but Anil would only be a little sad. As he said, poor man could show acceptance. Greedy man could show fear. Greedy man just be scared, oh, my money is lost. A poor man just shows, okay, my money is lost. But he said, what would be there, the reaction on Anil's face? It could be only a little sadness, that too of not losing the money, just only he would be feeling betrayed. He would be sad that he's trusted someone so much and the person had betrayed him. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on the bench. The night was chilly. It was early November and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. So the weather was not favorable to sit outside in a Maidan. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Now Hari Singh was walking when he reached a park. He sat on a bench. As it was the month of November, the night was a bit chilly and the drizzle added to the discomfort that Hari was going through. It started raining quite heavily and Hari's shirt and pajamas stuck to his body. Cold wind was blowing across his face. Now then Hari went back towards the bazaar and sat under the shelter of the clock tower to escape getting wet. It was 12 o'clock at the clock tower. Hari checked the notes and they were wet. Anil's money in the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentence anymore. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. Now he realized that what he has actually lost. He thought that Anil would have surely given him 2-3 rupees to go for a movie. But now, as he had stolen it, he had it all. Now he won't be able to make tea or do groceries for Anil anymore, nor would he be able to learn to write whole sentences ever. He had not realized that what he would be losing just in the excitement of stealing the money. And sometimes just as simple to be caught, but to be really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway. In clouded moonlight, Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute, then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. Now, he knew that it was very easy to steal something for someone, but sometimes it was that easy to get caught as well. He knew that if he learned to read and write, he could surely become a big and respected man one day. Then Hari told himself that he should go back if he wanted to learn to read and write, and also if he wanted to be a big man one day. Hari went back to Anil's room and was very nervous because he knew that it was much more difficult to return stolen things without being caught than actually stealing it. Hari went to the hallway and stood there as the moonlight was still falling over the bed. Anil was still asleep. Hari went near the head of the bed and took out the notes. As he was going near the mattress, his hand could feel Anil's breath on his hand. Now Hari became still for a moment because he didn't want to be caught. He didn't want Anil to know that Hari has stolen the money. So he found the edge of the mattress and finally slipped the notes under it. I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to stay. I woke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50 rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you'll be paid regularly. My spirits rose, but when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Today we'll start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. Now, the next morning, Hari woke up a little late, and Anil had already made the tea by then. Anil extended his hand towards Hari and had a 50 rupee note in his hand. Hari thought he'd been caught. He was scared now. Then suddenly Anil explained that he had made some money the day before, so he was giving him 50 rupees. He also said that now he would pay him regularly for his job. Hari was really happy, but when he took the note in his hand, he saw that it was still wet due to rain. He also told Hari that the day he would teach him how to write, that from that day he would teach him to write complete sentences. Hari realized that Anil had come to know that he had stolen money and kept it back. But the great thing that happened was that Anil did not show on his face in his words. He didn't mention, although Hari realized that Anil came to know about the truth. But Anil didn't disclose anything wordly. Hari again smiled at Anil in his most appealing way, and Anil's smile also came to his face without any effort. So here we finish the chapter. I hope you have understood it. Thank you.